What the heck kind of ominous sign was that? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Not the way you should want to start your week.
All right, so we're going to play a little game of high-low here in a second, our highlight and low-light from the weekend. Bert's going to be out for a good portion of the week because he's with his son Hollis on his senior trip. So for a lot of people, it's winter break this week. I feel like kids are out of school constantly now. We got a winter break. We got a spring break. We got a fall break. Now you get the whole week of Thanksgiving off. So it's winter break for a lot of peeps. Jimmy's actually out of school too, but we paid to put him in camp so we can, have time. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, cool. If he's going to be out for a good portion of the week, I'm going to sit in his seat. So I have a better vantage point of the team so I can see directly, I can look right into Mo's eyes. I can look right into Abby's eyes. When we have a guest come in, Mo's not coming to my back. That makes sense. I'm giving you I'm pulling the curtain back here for you guys. And then Bert has a computer screen where there's two buttons. One, I can decide when we need to wrap up the break, and I can hit that without having to press my button and talk in Katie's ear. It'll simplify. And also, I can hit a button to get us right into eBuzz when I'm ready to get out of another break. I'm like, as I'm driving, I'm like, I got a plan, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to crush this week. When Dad's away, the kids are going to play. We're also going to get some S done. I sit down at Bert's mic. Within 2 seconds of sitting there, the mic broke.
That thing really broke, broke off.
Broke. There's a piece of plastic that you can't just tie it back on. It's laying there. Very sad. And so I don't know what kind of omen that is, man.
But maybe the positive here is you don't need as much strength training as you thought you did.
Yeah, okay, Incredible Hulk.
Right?
Yeah, watching it go down, it looked like a little balloon just running out of air. It just went and slapped the ground.
So I'm sitting in my seat until we can get an engineer here to figure that out. But maybe that area of the room was just like, nah, B, you ain't ready for this seat.
Too much power in that seat.
You need to stay where you belong. All right, so Abby, your high-low of the weekend.
So my high of the weekend was sitting in front of my laptop for 7 hours yesterday because you've heard me talk about this before. I'm going to Greece in September with a bunch of ladies, and there's nothing that scratches my brain more than making a reservation. I don't know what it is. I love to plan. I love to figure out the best spot in whatever city we're going to, whatever island we're going to be on.
You love a good itinerary, don't you?
I love an itinerary, and I love a Google review. I love photos, and there's just something so satisfying as to planning something. You're going to plan a trip and you're just thinking about, I think everyone's going to love this place, and I can picture that person standing on that table and getting that drink and loving that item on the menu. And so I just really dove into Pinterest and just planned out some of the unfinished parts of the itinerary for my Greece trip. And so that was a lot of fun because I love sitting on the couch too. And then my low for the week is probably something I'm going to talk about, I think today. It's on the schedule for today. But I had a conversation and an email on Saturday that really just sent me into such a tizzy that I ended up canceling all my fun plans. So I had a rough Saturday, but a really fun Sunday on the couch.
How about you, Mo? Your high-low.
My highlight of the weekend would be Saturday night for sure, because I had a few people over. We had a really good time. It was a big fight. It was a lot of big fights, a couple big fights.
Not in your apartment, right?
Not in the apartment.
Yeah.
No. Boxing matches, some professional fighters doing at it. And that was great. And we finally finished the studio that we all been working on for the past few months. It's ready to go, finally ready for launch. So that would be the highlights. The lowlights would be it took us a lot longer in that day, and we missed some fights in trying to finish the studio because one of my friends promised us that he knows how to paint. And he does not know how to paint at all.
Why is that something you'd flex that you know how to do if you don't?
I don't think he tried to hustle us. I think he really thought he knew. And he discovered dealing with a black wall is a bit different.
Oh, okay. All right, because when you say paint, you don't mean paint a mural. You mean just paint
the wall.
Yeah.
And so we had to move some things around. So he's like, it's just a cover-up job, which I thought it was, too, in his defense. But apparently, when you're dealing with a certain kind of black paint, you can't just cover it up. No. And it's going to be the same shade as the rest of the wall. So we pretty much had to paint the entire wall over just to fix one little spot that would be on camera. So that wasn't a lot of fun. That was probably the low light, but we got it done in the end.
All right, my high-low. I had quite a few highs this weekend, and it all had to do with a lot of first for my son Jimmy. who turns 4 this month.
Oh, he's so old.
So old.
Big up there.
So Friday was my Friday off. Bert's super kind, and he gives all of us a rotating Friday off, and that was glorious.
You had a great Friday, by the way.
Oh.
That was a great Friday.
That was a goated Friday.
Yes,
Was it?
was. Yeah, absolutely.
The Friday after Bert's Big
Yes.
Adventure? Yeah, I don't know. Tracy, I'm like, ah. So I got to sleep in. I went and got myself a massage, and then I went and had a little brunch by myself. So I'm sipping my cappuccino, reading my book. And then after that, I'm like, it's brunch. I only have 2 drinks in front of me. I need at least 3. So I got me a little glass of bubbly. And then I went and picked up my son, and we went out to dinner with our neighbors that night. It was glorious. And then Saturday was Jimmy's first baseball practice.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this small ball. He has no idea what he's doing. He'd rather play in the dirt than try to catch a ball. It was incredible. I loved every second of it. Best part is when we were driving over there, I was like, all right, my dude, we have 2 goals today. First goal, listen to our coach. Second goal, have fun. And he listened to coach
Okay.
for the most part, and we had fun, and he couldn't wait to do it again. So
That's a good sign.
we're doing good. And then yesterday was Kaylee's daughter's birthday. It was Kiki's birthday. And they had it at Stars and Strikes. So it's an arcade and a bowling, right? So that was Jimmy's first time bowling. It was first time at an arcade. The kid was just living it up this
Yeah,
weekend.
he had a weekend.
So I was living vicariously through him. Now, I do have an update of some lows, but I feel like we need to stick with the highs here. And so I'm going to save my lows for a little bit later because we got to talk about the haunted fish tank that I gifted my son for Christmas.
Oh,
boy.
no.
Yeah, we're having some trouble. All right, so we did some Oscar predictions last week prior to the Oscars airing last night, and we're going to see who is the best and who is the worst. So this was Rebecca's idea, but she's out today, so she's passed the Oscar baton to Abby. Now, here's the thing. I watched a majority of the Oscars last night, minus the part where I had to pause it, put my son to bed, come back, and try to catch up. And I think 2 things can be true at the same time. The first thing is everybody deserves to be recognized. This is film's biggest night. So a lot of these categories, by all means, they deserve to have their name read. They deserve to come up on stage and give a heartfelt speech, right? I felt like the people playing the music that normally like runs people off stage, they were all taking naps because that music never came on all night. They just let people just talk for as long as they freaking wanted. And I'm actually okay with that. At the other time, it was so boring. It was it's always so long and it's so boring. And Conan O'Brien was hosting, and I felt like he did like an okay job. I actually would have liked more of him or more skits or more something because it was just very awards focused. And I got there towards the end, and I really wanted to like stick it out and see who won Best Film. And I was like, yeah, I'll read it tomorrow in prep.
Well, I love in the beginning, he literally did this entire musical number that was like, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste your time. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, get us in, get us out. Because 4 hours of just watching these speeches from movies we didn't even watch. I'm like, we got to get in, we got to get out as fast as possible, even though it dragged on and on and on.
It did. And I was actually, I thought it was going to start at 8. But they started that bad boy at 7:30
Okay, it's a little better.
because they knew these people, they're actors, they're gonna run their mouths, man.
Which is hysterical when you think about it being in LA and you're like, oh, they're starting at 4 p.m. These people have been up since 8 a.m. getting ready for this red carpet.
Yeah, super early.
So Rebecca, who is our resident cinephile of the show, she watched every single Oscar-nominated film that was nominated for Best Film, and she challenged us to see how we would do in predicting who won the Oscars. So we have the results, and they have been tallied. So I say we go through some of the major categories, Abby, and then you can go from worst to best when it comes to our grades and how well we did and how many we got right.
Well, one of us did pretty well. I don't want to say any of us did exceptional, but there's definitely a clear winner here, and there is definitely a clear loser.
Because for understanding, there's 23 categories that we had to go through and choose winners for.
I chose with my heart. This is typically how I do March Madness, where I'm like, who has the prettiest cover? That's the one I'm choosing.
That's how I chose.
Yeah, I didn't choose who I thought was going to win. I chose who I wanted to win.
Okay. I didn't even know who I wanted to win.
No, I'm competitive. I was like, who do I think? What's like the most pretentious sounding movie in this list? I'm choosing that one. So, of course, the biggest awards this year, the one that everybody is waiting for at the very end of it, of course, Best Picture, that went to Anora, which had a budget of $6 million, $1 million for every person that went to go see it. And then Best Actor went to Adrian Brody, who had a 5-minute speech. And when they tried to kick him off the stage, he's like, no, I've been here before. Like, let me wrap this up.
Really quick before we jump from Anora. What is Anora about?
Sex workers. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually, I think it was the director that ended up getting an award for it, and he said, I really want to thank the sex worker community because they really walked with me through this entire film. Because obviously, like when you're making a film about a certain community, like you need to be able to get firsthand experiences and really like get their approval. So it was a big part of the filming process. So for Best Actress, again, Anora Mikey Madison, the star of that film, got the award. For Best Supporting Actor, I feel like we all kind of knew this one. Kieran Culkin got it for A Real Pain.
I loved his speech, by the way. So that was one of the early awards of the night. He actually gave props to Jeremy Strong, which is his his fellow actor from the movie Succession, right? And this is also the guy that was in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial submerging himself in coffee because he's a method actor.
Yep.
And he had some really nice things to say in the gate. But are you going to be playing Kieran Culkin's acceptance speech and how he put his wife in her place later on in the show?
We will.
Okay.
Best Supporting Actress went to Zoe Saldana, whose acceptance speech was a roller coaster. We were sobbing, and then we were laughing, and then we were sobbing again, and then we were cheering again. So again, we're going to play all these later in the episode. Best Director went to Sean Baker for Anora. Of course, that's when he gave all the props to the sex workers that he worked with on this film to be able to get firsthand experience, to be able to make it feel very real and very accurate.
Who was that winner, and what was that category for?
Sean Baker, Best Director for Anora.
Okay.
Best Original Screenplay, again, Sean Baker, Anora. Best Adapted Screenplay for Conclave. And then probably the biggest shock of the night for me was Best Animated Film, because I was like, oh, duh, Inside Out 2. That's the one that everyone was talking about. No, I went to a movie called Flow.
Yeah, but it's about a kitty cat. You love your cats.
Meow. Love that for them. Okay, are we ready to know who won our Oscar betting ballot?
So go from worst to best.
Do you want to take a guess at who did the worst?
It had to be me.
It had to be me.
Had to be
Because
me.
I didn't pick Anora for any of them.
I think I was trying like halfway through. Then when I realized there was 80 of them, I was like, all right.
Okay, so the worst went to Mo.
Yep.
You got one correct. I think it was
1 out of 23.
I think it might have been cinematography, the Brutalist. I didn't mark which one
That's
was
the
right.
only one I tried.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
No, you got Zoe Saldana.
Oh yeah,
Actress in a leading role.
That was from the
supporting
heart.
role.
That was the name I recognized. So I was like, let's go. So
Congrats on
Congratulations.
your 1 out of 23.
thank you very much.
In second place, is it me or is it Kristen?
I think I'm going Kristen.
It's Kristen.
Yeah.
You got 3. I think you also chose The Brutalist for 1, and The Brutalist won like 1,000 awards. And Kieran Culkin.
Yes.
And
Okay, cool.
one other one.
Okay.
You want to know who came in first place out of us 3?
Who?
Me.
Yep.
Me. I got 5, which I was shocked by. I think it's because I sat with Rebecca for a majority of watching the Oscars, and I was like, okay, tell me who I need to quickly put in before I put in my ballot.
Well, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. And if Bert decides to give me his little ballot, I will see if he beats me.
I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Probably not.
Sometimes it feels like everything comes with strings attached. So you think maybe somebody's just being nice, but turns out, no, they want something from you. And intern Sadie, it all started with the free soda, and then it just snowballed out of control.
Yep, nothing's ever free anymore, apparently. So this was back when I was probably finishing up high school was when all this started. So I was maybe 17, 18, and my mom and I used to frequent this gas station, and this guy would always give us free fountain drinks that worked there. He'd be like, oh, just walk out, it's fine. Like, it's just 1 drink, 2 drinks, whatever.
Well, that was nice of him.
Super nice of him.
Did you guys have your go-to convenience store growing up?
Not really, because as a New Yorker, you pretty much go to bodegas most of the time.
So did you have your go-to bodega where everybody kind of knew you?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, it was like 2 of them that were pretty popular on our block, so everybody knew everybody who were going to that store.
No, I grew up in the suburbs, so I was just shopping at whatever Wawa was closest to me if I was running out of gas.
So we had it was a Minute Mart that was down the street from us. It was right next to the Dairy Queen. And so we could walk down there, and it was Avery was his name. I don't know why I can still remember this. I remember what he looked like. Avery was his name that worked in the front. We would go in there all the time. And it was to the point, even when I was a kid, I could go down there and get my dad his Marlboro Reds and get my mom her Virginia Slims Menthol Ultra Lights. And he would sell them to us, knowing, like, even though, I mean, I'm talking about like, we were like kids. But he knew they were going to Jim and Sheila, so it wasn't a big deal.
See, in New York, I get everybody called him Poppy, so we never really knew his real first name.
Oh, Poppy was the guy working the bodega?
That was his name.
I like it.
Well, so this guy, he was probably mid-30s at the time, so like a considerable age gap between him and I. And he never was like creepy towards me or anything. It was just very like kind, like here's a free fountain drink for you and your mom. Like never any red flags. It was just a kind transaction. And I haven't seen him probably since I was graduating high school. And I get like a little Facebook request, like a friend request.
From the gas station dude.
From the gas station dude. So I follow him. And I get a DM. And it started very friendly. Like, how have you been? Like, what are you up to? What are you majoring in? Yeah. Well, it turned into that. But very friendly to start off with. Like, went back and forth, caught up. Like, he couldn't figure out where he knew me from. And I'm like, no, remember you used to give my mom and I the free drinks. And it turned into like little comments about my eyes and like how he always used to have a crush on me, which is kind of sick because I was a teenager.
And this is a grown man we're talking about.
This is a grown man we're talking about.
Like how grown? Like what if you had to guesstimate his age then and now, what would it be?
I would say like probably mid-30s.
Oh.
But I was probably like 17, 18.
Oh,
so,
grown.
Yeah, grown enough.
He's twice your age.
Yeah, grown enough. But
So now this man in his 40s is hitting you up on Facebook, and this is just the dude that used to hook you up with the free soda pop.
yeah, literally, I just thought it was no strings attached. He was just being nice to mom and I. But the little, your eyes this, like, I used to have a crush on you that. I didn't want to make it awkward. I didn't want you to have to switch gas stations.
Well, there's nothing more awkward than catching a case and ending up in jail because she's 17.
Yeah, I'm like, bold of you to assume I would reroute my gas station because you're a little freak. But
There's your sign that maybe you need to dial it back a little bit.
yeah. So we go like back and forth. I kind of start like pulling back after those messages came through. And I just stopped answering after like the little freaky comments started coming in about like my physical appearance and whatnot. And this was like October of last year. So I haven't answered him, and I probably have gotten 12 messages over the course of like 6 months. And you would think like no response. Stop trying.
Take a hint.
No, after we hit double digits, like you've blocked him, correct?
Oh, I've blocked and reported after the last one I got.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the last one I got, again, I have not answered this man since October of 2024. The last message I got said, Facebook won't stop showing me you're online. You're too beautiful for me not to ask. How much for us to link up, ma? See a different side of you. Smirky face, smirky face. Do I look like that kind of person?
He don't care if it's awkward anymore.
Over some free Coke Zero?
Oh, it escalated.
The audacity.
Don't even lie. It feels a little good, doesn't it?
I mean,
This man's willing to risk jail. Well, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, I mean, he's fessing up to a crime for your love.
I would have sent him a price.
how much? Like, how much should we pitch?
At least a case. At least a case. So it's a 2-liter ain't going to cut it, but at least a case.
Have you seen inflation recently?
Yeah.
Life's expensive.
2 dozen
Yeah,
eggs.
tell him throw some eggs in there.
Mo, this is a thing, like a little insight to a lady brain. And I get where Abby is coming from here. No joke. So again,
break this down for me.
2 things can be true at the same time. You can be completely repulsed by the hey ma, interaction. But at the same time, you're like, oh, how the audacity, how dare he? And then be like, I got it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
To be desired in that
Yes.
way is okay. I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
All right, so shifting gears here really quick. I have a question. Is this a bad mom or is this a creative mom? Okay. So this is a mom that has come up with a creative way of teaching her child the alphabet. All right. And it's not your typical alphabet. It's a designer alphabet. So this is from Casey Jean on TikTok. And she came up with a new way to teach her kid the alphabet, and it has everything to do with designer labels. Now, a little fair warning, I'm not sure... There's a little bit of an accent. I don't know what the accent is, so it might be hard to understand some of the words, but I think you're going to be able to understand what she's teaching her child.
D is for Dior. E is for etudes. F is for Fender. G is for
Go check.
H is for Hermes. E is for Easy My Jacket. J is for Jackman. K is for Kindle. L is for
Louis Vuitton. So D is for Dior. G is for Gucci.
It sure is.
F was for Fendi. H was for Hermes. And of course, that last one there, L was for Louis Vuitton. So bad mom or creative mom?
I mean, initially, I just thought it was funny. But when I think about it, when I was a kid, I would try to relate things that I was learning to things that I enjoyed to learn about. Like I would relate it to sports, or I would relate it to hip hop, whatever I did in order to help myself learn it. So if it works and she's going to learn how to silent the H because of Hermes, I mean, I'm not really mad at it.
And there is a book on Amazon that you can buy that has a list of all of the designers.
She, I think, is a creative mom, but she's creating a very expensive habit. Because if you had taught me about Hermes at the age of 3, you best believe I would have been trying to get one at 18 at the Hermes store.
Facts.
Rolling up being like, hey.
All right, now another mom that we need to discuss. And so Ruby Franke has a new documentary that is out. This was my favorite podcast that got turned into a docuseries, okay? And Ruby Franke is this vlogger mom that just blew up. And when I say she blew up, they had millions of subscribers on YouTube. It was called 8 Passengers. It was her husband, and their 6 kids. They live in Utah. They are of the Mormon faith, and they just showcased everything and anything about their lives and their kids, okay? And she became super popular and became like a famous YouTuber because of this mommy vlog. Well, fast forward, the woman gets arrested for, here's a trigger warning, for, and I don't want to just say it outright because it's early, but for not taking good care of her children. We're just going to put it that way, okay? She's currently spending up to 30 years in jail.
Oh my God.
30 years in prison. That's how bad it was, right? And so it's crazy because her entire family, and I'm like obsessed with this story, right? Because I find it, the whole when you look at the human element of it and the fact that this woman became so famous peddling her parenting, and then later down the road is now in prison for 30 years because of what she was doing behind the scenes. I just feel like there's a lot of lessons to learn here, right? So her entire family, her now ex-husband, who got kicked out of the house for a year, had no idea any of this was going on. It was all going on without his knowledge.
Do we know why he got kicked out?
Yes, because Ruby ended up with this therapist, Jody Hildebrandt, and she basically brainwashed the entire family and had her thinking that he was demonic and the children were demonic, which is why she was acting the way she was, and kicked him out of the house. And he was, in order to be holy again, he could have no communication with any of his kids, no communication with his wife, none of that, right?
Okay.
So it's so messed up. So he is doing the interviews. The 2 oldest children who had gotten kicked out of the house are doing the interviews, and they protected the faces of the younger children, right? But they have all this footage because she was a vlogger. So she had all this unaired footage. And this is some behind the scenes of her while she was filming. And this is stuff that obviously made the cutting room floor.
I always ask myself when I schedule a weekend, is what I scheduled worth? Hey, I'm still recording! Come on! Why am I hearing all this noise?
12:35, and we're trying to get ready for church. That's why.
Many of you in the last several videos have said, can we hear your kids play some Christmas music or sing some Christmas carols? I'm waiting for to share conversation with you.
I'm listening to you talk. I like to hear Ruby talk.
I'm cutting all of this out. Help me out here.
All of a sudden, it wasn't enough to just interact with her. I had to interact with the camera. And she would pull it out and she would say, Kevin, this camera is...
So so this is a new documentary on Hulu, and it's just watching how someone can get brainwashed. And then her oldest daughter, and I wanted to highlight her, I'm really proud of her. She is now in Congress trying to pass laws about family vlogging and making sure like you can't do it without children's consent. There's payment for the kids as well if they're going to be like involved. Like she's really trying to make sure she looks after the little ones who kind of get sucked into this and they don't have a say.
Right. Good for her using that negative experience to make change.
Well, if you see your favorite influencer moving to a state like Nashville, there's a rumor going around that a lot of the reason that a lot of these influencers are relocating is because California is starting to enact those laws that protect those kids where you have to pay them, and states like Tennessee don't have them yet. So if you clock that, it's probably the reason why.
That's so freaking scary. All right, we sent Messy Mikey out to, let's be honest, embarrass himself. And we're going to get to that here in just a second to see if people cheered for him when he made these very random announcements. But as promised, I need to give you the fish update. For those that don't know, there was a fish tank back in the phone screening room because the Bert Show had won a couple of fish at the fair. And so fish 1, fish 2, fish 3 were living for a little bit in that fish tank. But slowly but surely, all 3 of them met their demise.
One of them tried to get up out of there.
Literally.
And succeeded spiritually.
Yes. So I hit up Fish Daddy, a.k.a. Jackson Kim. And I was like, all right, is this tank like screwed up or are we just like not really good at taking care of fish? And he's like, no, the tank is fine. So for Christmas, my husband and I gave our son Jimmy a fish tank and 3 fishies. He has a blue one, and like a reddish, pinkish one, and a yellow one. Tootie, Dinosaur, and Tiger.
Got it.
So I came on here and told you guys the saga of Dinosaur, who woke up and didn't have any more stripes. Because you know when fish hit puberty, they lose their stripes.
Everybody know that.
Yeah,
duh.
Biology 101. Duh. Pick up a book. Read, losers.
That's it. I mean,
so when we were out of town for Bert's Big Adventure, my husband is now responsible at the fish tank, which, by the way, is my responsibility. He and I shook on it. Spat in our palms and shook on it that I am the one responsible for keeping this puppy clean and keeping the fish alive and taking care of them because he wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted nothing to do with it. But here I am out of town for 5 days, so he's got to take care of the fish. Dinosaur 2.0.
Oh no.
No, come on.
Not 2.0.
Not 2.0.
The one that hit puberty and lost his stripes.
Yeah. Lost it all now.
Yes, he did.
Lost his stripes, lost his life.
So Bart had to rush out while Jimmy was at school and get Dinosaur 3.0. So Dinosaur 3.0 is I hopefully thriving. And then there's Tiger.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Come on.
So we also lost Tiger.
Okay, we still got one though, right?
That is 3 fit. Well, so we replaced Dinosaur. So now there's Tootie and Dinosaur living. We've never replaced Tiger, and Jimmy hasn't said a thing. I was supposed to go get a Tiger replacement. And, you know, life be lifing, and I just never got around to it. And the kid, he thinks Tiger's hiding. Like, he thinks he's hiding somewhere. And hasn't said anything about it. I have tested the ammonia. The ammonia is fine. It's clear. Like, we're feeding them just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. Why are these fish dying is what I need to know.
It's the tank. Right?
Do we think the tank is haunted? Like, do we think that tank is cursed?
If a home can be haunted, I don't see why a tank can't.
Now, fish are the perfect example of having to teach your children about death because fish death is inevitable. I had so many fish growing up that would die within like 3 days. They seem like they're the easiest to take care of because you just sprinkle a little food in them, you watch them, and they gurgle around. But I'm telling you, I have not owned a fish that lasted longer than a couple months.
There might be a simple explanation. you might have high maintenance fish, or Bart sabotaged you and killed them, so he didn't have to deal with it. But goldfish apparently are supposed to have a 20-gallon tank per fit. Like, it's 20 gallons for the first one, then 10 gallons for each additional one. So you got 3 fish up in there, it should be a 40-gallon tank.
Yeah, we ain't got no 40-gallon.
Yeah, no one has room for a
tank.
40-gallon tank in their house. Isn't it the aquarium?
For one little gold, and these aren't the goldfish that are grow big like in a koi pond. Like, these are like the tetra glowfish.
Yeah.
And somebody hit me up and they were like, "Yeah, no, those are like inbred within an inch of their life, which is why like they don't really thrive.
They're deep south fish. They're Alabama rolled tide fish.
And so I don't know. I don't know if I should we just like nix the tank, or do I just keep on buying replacement fish?
Time for a fish fry.
You ain't gonna
say-
get much. It's gonna be like a moose boosh of a fish.
Keep going. Keep replacing the original members the same way they do with like the Temptations. Nobody ever knows.
So jacked up. All right, so yeah, we're losing them left and right. All right, Mikey, you had a mission, sir, and also I'm going to give you another homework assignment here, really quick. Next time you come back in, I think we need to have a little messy Mikey at Mike Music. What do you think?
Oh,
At what? Okay.
You're at Bat
At
Music,
Bat Music.
but you're at Mike Music. For like when you come on for segments like this, when we send you out to act a fool, I feel like you need appropriate music to go into this brand of stupidity that we are pigeonholing you into.
Okay.
why don't you make one up right now on the spot?
You do have your own music.
Oh yeah, you had a
Right?
SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Do we have the Rice song easily accessible?
We should. It's a hit.
Guys, Chad broke out into the rice song randomly the other day. Like a week ago was like, how many rice are in a bowl of rice? And I was like, sir, do not. We are in our marital bed. Do not book Mikey Wakefield.
All right, for those that don't know about the Rice song, that are like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
That's my claim to fame. I was a SoundCloud rapper for like a year and a half. Retired after 55 albums and 55 songs. And the thing was that I could only record it one time. I'd make a beat and then I give myself one chance to record it and just say whatever I want, but then I have to force myself to post it. And that adds up to some rough music.
Okay. All right, so we'll have that the next time you come on. But what was your homework assignment?
This was a very rough one. My nerves have never been this high, but
You don't like doing this, do you?
it's rough. It's really rough. I hate. So this time I had to. Part of it was gathering the attention of an entire bar, and I just feel so annoying. But
It didn't have to be a bar. You could have walked into
anywhere.
like a Nordstrom Rack if you wanted to.
Yeah, one of them was not a bar. Well, here's the game. Is I went out to a crowd and announced a big piece of news. And you guys are going to guess if the crowd was excited for me or if they completely ignored me altogether.
Okay.
Got it.
So the first one is I did it at Fido, which is an Irish pub, which is like a fancy one. Is it not?
Fido is the equivalent of like an Applebee's.
Have you seen how many glass windows they have in there? It's fancy.
So glass
So
windows
what?
equate fancy?
Oh yeah, they got good glass in there.
Okay.
They got tinted.
Good tinted glass. That's all right.
So the first one, I announced that a long lost relative died and left me millions of dollars.
Okay, so you're at Fido. This is the announcement you're making. Do we have a time of day that this is happening?
This is about 7:00 at night, and also it's worth mentioning that I act like I'm on a phone call, and I just received the news.
All right, so we have to guess now if we think the crowd cheered for you or they did not cheer for you.
That's correct.
I'm thinking, I've been to said establishment. 7:00 is early. I don't think people are into their pints as much. So I'm going to say you did not get one single cheer.
Okay.
I've never been there, but 7:00, I feel like people were probably confused by the news. They didn't know what to do. So I'm going to assume that they did not cheer.
Listen, the vibes in an Irish pub are immaculate, no matter what time of day. So I'm going to say, at the very least, there were a couple of people in the back that did cheer for you.
Okay. Hit me. What do you mean? No. No. No way. No. Hey, everybody. My great aunt died and she's leaving me $1 million. You don't get it? I don't even got it yet. I would buy everyone around. I don't got anything yet. Thank you. I did. I got $1 million. My great aunt died. Okay.
And the Oscar goes to
Not Mikey.
not Mikey.
I got him there in the back half.
Okay, so we might have to. I think we're fudging the rules of the game. I feel like when you make your initial big announcement, if nobody cheers, that counts as a failure.
Okay.
The fact that you had to talk them into cheering for you.
So
They didn't even offer condolences. They were just like, buy us around.
So it was like some kind of bachelorette party, like right behind us. Everybody turned their heads whenever I made the announcement, and then they were like, idiot. Went back to their time.
Yeah.
But then the girls right behind, they were confused about what I said. And then whenever they said, what? And I said, my great aunt died. And then they cheered. So they're not really cheering for my $1 million. I think they're happy my aunt's dead.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I don't know how to feel about that one. That one's a little iffy.
Yeah.
Give us the next scenario.
Okay. The next scenario is I'm at Willie's, whatever that is. It's like they just have a bunch of outdoor seating. It's like a Mexican place or something.
Oh, yeah.
I was there and I had to announce that my divorce was final.
Okay. You're announcing your divorce. And Willie's is like I wouldn't say it's fast food, but it's like Chipotle, Qdoba-esque.
It's close. Yeah.
That's kind of the vibes we're talking about here.
You're trying to go places you know you'll never go again.
100%.
Be like, I'm never walking in here again. They really have a very wide array of sauces, though. I kind of highly recommend Willie's. All right, so Mo, we're going to start with you first. You think they cheered or they didn't cheer when they found out Mikey's divorce was finalized?
I'm going to say, once again, in the same vein as the first one, people were confused on your announcement and didn't know what to do, so they didn't cheer.
I'm going to say they ignored you. They're going to be too busy with their queso and their margs, as they should be.
I mean, I love you, Messy Mikey, but you're not really selling this, man, when you're making your announcement. So I'm going to say you didn't get any cheers either.
Okay. Hey, so it's a done deal? It's over? It's over?
So awkward.
That's amazing. Thank you for all your help, sir. Hey, everybody. My divorce is final.
Hell yeah!
Thank you.
How old are you?
23. She was 50. She looked like Roseanne Barr, though. Thank you. Let's go.
I think that counts, right?
Because he got a hell yeah.
I got one hell yeah.
He got a hell yeah. My man cheered.
I don't know if that was a cheers so much as like, he felt that in his soul. He related to that too much.
All right, so again, we have to define the difference between cheering and just acknowledging a stranger has made an announcement.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, here we go. Last scenario. What do you got, Mikey?
The last one is I have to announce that I got my STD test back and I do not have gonorrhea. And this one was performed in Smith's old bar with Jackson and Rebecca. We went to trivia. After trivia was over, there was a bunch of people playing pool, and I stood up on the stairs and made my announcement.
So Smith's old bar. You're in a drinking establishment. What time of day are we talking about here?
This is probably close to 10 now.
Oh, okay. All right. So now you're probably well liquored up to give you the courage to even do this one.
Yeah, my nerves were just shot.
Okay.
You need a
All
couple
right,
shots
Abby,
for that one.
Yeah.
we're going to go with you. Do you think they cheered finding out that Mikey is gonorrhea free?
So I saw this video on social media because I happen to follow Jackson Kim on the Instagram, and I watched this go down. So I feel a little biased because I'm pretty sure I saw.
Well, no, it was Rebecca's, and she cut it before there was any reaction.
Okay. I feel like they weren't going to cheer for you. Gotta be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know why people aren't excited for your accomplishments, Mikey, but I don't think they cheered for you either.
I want to support you, bro. So I'm just gonna say they cheered, even though I don't think they did.
All right, here we go. Did they cheer when they find out Mikey does not have gonorrhea?
Hey, doctor. Yeah. All clear. I'm all good. Hey, everybody. My lab test came back. I'm clear of gonorrhea.
Attaboy.
You found your people.
There was a bunch of guys in suits that cheered for me.
You're divorced, gonorrhea free, and you have $1 million.
I know, it's a good week.
Living the life.
It's a good week.
She is dealing with some major neighborhood mama drama and wants to know from you guys how to deal with it. So as you're listening, if you have any advice from her, 1-855-BERT-SHOW, 855-237-8746. But first things first, we got to get the deets. Hey, Kelly, welcome to the Bert Show.
Hi, thank you.
Hey, no, thank you for reaching out to us and wanting to come on. So go ahead and break down to everybody this mama drama that you have going on in your neighborhood. Because I know like your neighborhood and your home is supposed to be your safe place. So when there's drama going on and you're uneasy, it can make life unbearable.
It's true. Yeah, I live in a really tight-knit neighborhood, and everyone is really friendly. You know, we watch out for each other's kids all the time, and that is until Samantha moved in last year. And, you know, I really tried to welcome her, but she is a lot. She's one of those moms who thinks that, you know, her way is the only way, and last week she crossed the line.
And crossed the line how?
Well, this past Friday, a bunch of the kids were playing at the park, and my 10-year-old Lucas was out there too, and he is definitely, a shy kid. He kind of takes his time to warm up, but he was actually having a good time. And then all of a sudden, Samantha, without asking me, starts telling him how he should be playing. She literally took the ball that he had out of his hands and started coaching him on how to throw it. And after a while, he got overwhelmed and he walked away. And instead of backing off, she follows him.
Okay, now
saying things like, "Oh, come on, don't be a quitter. You'll never get better if you just walk away." I mean, who does that to someone else's kid?
So it does sound. Hold on 1 second. So we can just kind of interact with you as you're telling the story. So if you guys had a kid and they're out there and they're playing, and somebody comes in and says, "Hey, here's a proper way to throw a ball," I personally wouldn't have an issue with that. Especially if there's somebody that played softball or played baseball and you have a couple of useful tips, I'm okay with that. But it feels like at some point she crossed the line. You guys agree?
I would say that's the context. Like, that's the thing that's not being said. But if you were there in the moment, maybe it just felt off, or it felt a little bit too much like being a helicopter non-parent.
It would depend on the intent for me. It would be easier if I saw it, because if I took it as they were genuinely trying to help and just trying to give my kids some advice that they felt like they had, then I wouldn't feel away. But if it came from a place of you were trying to be condescending towards my kid, I would have an issue with it.
Yeah, calling your kid a quitter, that crosses the line, especially
sure.
at the age of 10. All right, so Kelly, so are you witnessing any of this, or is this like hearsay coming from kids or somebody else that saw it?
I mean, my son came home upset.
Gotcha. All right,
and he was saying he didn't want to play at the park anymore.
Oh. So she made him feel so uncomfortable that now the park can't even be a safe space for him because I don't want to use the word bully because it doesn't feel like it's bullying, but she definitely overstepped her boundaries.
Yeah. Okay,
so Lucas comes home and tells you this. What was your step as a mom? Because I'm sure you were infuriated that somebody, an adult especially, made your kid feel this way.
I was, and I just texted her a simple thing of, "Hey, I'd appreciate it if you just let Lucas do his own thing." And then she replied, "Well, maybe if you pushed him a little, he wouldn't be so soft."
Oh, those fighting words.
Uh-huh. And so again, remind me, Samantha moved in how long ago?
Last year.
We would have to have a serious one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
We can't. Yeah, she's going entirely too far.
I think this is the perfect example of it's not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. And I'm getting the vibe. I'm just going to take a gander here. This woman's kind of aggressive, maybe a little rough around the edges. And kids are very sensitive. When you give them criticism, even though if you think it's constructive, they haven't built up that thick skin yet to be able to take it.
All right, so she texted you back. Maybe if you pushed him a little, he wouldn't be so soft. I'm wondering, did you respond back to her, or did you just remove yourself from the conversation?
I have not responded back yet, but that's not all she's done.
What else she do?
The next morning she posts a Facebook status, like a vague book about overprotective moms raising kids who can't handle a little constructive feedback. Like, she wasn't even trying to hide it.
And it was directly, vague booking drives me crazy, but that was targeted at you and Lucas.
I mean, yeah, I think so. Why, that's odd timing, I think. So I have not responded to that, but it is definitely awkward now. And I'm just, am I crazy here? Because to me, this feels like a huge boundary issue.
Okay, so Kelly, hang tight. We have Lisa on line 1, and she wants to try to give you some advice. Hey, Lisa, so you know this type of mom?
Oh, yeah, like big time, my sister.
Oh, yeah, you definitely know her then.
Close to her.
It's the whole thing of that you've got all types of moms. You've got all types of dads.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, the sweetheart moms that, have their mama's boys. You've got your strict moms. But then, of course, you've got to have your mean moms. But they're trying to be cool about it, but sometimes it comes across off not being so cool. And it's just kind of like, maybe it's just the way she is. Not that she was trying to, be specifically targeting your son. I'm sorry he feels upset. But you got to have that kind of mom out there.
Gotcha. So what you're saying, Lisa, is she shouldn't take this personal, that people just have different types of parenting, and this is her version of parenting, and hers is just different.
Yes.
But what if when it affects the child, like it's upsetting Lucas?
Well, like, I've talked to my daughter whenever my sister has upset her, and I'm kind of like, well, if you think about it, so forth, they're not trying to be mean. They're just trying to show you their way.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Lisa. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Kelly, when you hear that from Lisa, are you like, all right, that makes sense? Or are you like, no, this person hurt my kid's feelings and I'm still pissed?
No, when you don't, when you cross a line with a child, like you need to know the child that you're dealing with. You are the adult and they are the child. Okay, that is something that you have to always keep in consideration, that you have to understand that certain children, expect a certain way or will react a certain way to you if you are going to be aggressive toward them. Like, she was aggressive. There's no need for any adult that hasn't known his whole life or anything. It's like she has her sisters, they're the aunts to her children who have been in her child's life for a long time. So maybe they can have come to understand, like, oh, well, that's, that person. But, this woman is newer to our community. My son doesn't know her very well. Mm-hmm. She has no right to behave that way to my son.
Okay, so Kelly, I need you to brace yourself here. Obviously, this is a very specific story with specific details. And I want to let you know that we have the other mom, Samantha, on the line.
Oh my God, T.
And she wants to share her side of the story, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Just you stay right there. Hey, Samantha. Welcome to the Bert Show. Hi.
Hi, this is Samantha. Hi. I just want to say that I'm actually shocked at the way Kelly is twisting this. But, okay, listen. First of all, I didn't force Lucas to do anything. He was playing. He missed a throw. I gave him some pointers, and like any adult would do, listen, I wasn't yelling. I wasn't berating him. I was just coaching him a little. Because frankly, I've seen the way she babies him, and I thought maybe he could use some encouragement.
Did you call him a quitter?
No, he's not a quitter, but he needed that extra edge. You need somebody to sort of coach him, right?
No, you didn't answer. Did you call him a quitter?
I didn't call him a quitter. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said that he needs to do this. So, and instead of just talking to me like an adult, Kelly decides to text me like I committed some horrible crime. And the Facebook thing? Yeah, that wasn't even about her. It was a general observation about how kids today don't handle adversity well.
You practically tagged me in that Facebook. You probably tagged me in that Facebook post.
I did not. And frankly, I think you're overreacting. maybe if you didn't actually let Lucas experience a little, like if he had a little discomfort in his life, instead of shielding him from everything, he would be more resilient. He would be like a stronger kid.
Okay, this is what I mean. You have no idea how to respect other people's parenting. And you don't get to decide how I raise my kid.
And you don't get to decide how everyone else reacts with the world just because you're overly sensitive. Look, Kelly, I am sorry if your son was upset, but I was just being a responsible adult. The real problem here is that you can't handle anyone having a different approach than you.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, Samantha, the problem is that you don't respect boundaries, so you don't get to decide what's best for my child.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think
points were made.
Yes.
Hey, words were said, right?
Absolutely.
I think so. What I'm hearing as a fellow mom, you guys just have two completely different ways of parenting, and bottom line, that is okay. I think attacking each other isn't going to accomplish anything. And I think, Samantha, what I'm hoping you're hearing is that Kelly has a way of parenting, and she would appreciate if you would respect that. And that's going to have to change your interaction with Lucas. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it is Kelly's child.
Is there even going to be any more interaction between the two of you guys in the neighborhood?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know, because I don't trust her and my kid anymore.
Well, that's rich. I'm the bad guy for trying to be helpful. Unreal. Oh my God.
All right. So I don't know. I just feel like we're just going to have to agree to disagree, and that this is a lesson learned in different styles of parenting. And you guys should never see each other again.
I got some
need to be
popcorn.
separated.
I got some popcorn left if y'all want some.
I do ultimately believe that it's okay with them having two different parenting techniques, but at the end of the day, if Kelly doesn't want someone around their child, then she should have the right to not want someone around their child.
Yeah, I don't know much about parenting, but I do think the parent of the child does get the final say.
That's how
I'm going to go out on a limb and
works.
say that, yeah.
Abby, is it true? You're giving up dating apps for good?
I hate to be the girl that cried, delete! But
because you've done it before.
Yes, you have. We've been here before.
The first time was against my will. The last time, Bert was dangling $1,000 in front of my face saying, "Here, kitty, kitty. You give up men, I'll give you $1,000." And there's nothing I love more than money. So
do me a favor, lick your lip. You got some yogurt on
I'm
there.
telling you, this yogurt got everywhere. It's on my sweatshirt. It got in my hair. I don't know what is happening. I was hungry.
It's all right.
Trying to get my protein in. Anyway, so I have been through this once before, where this time last year, Bert was encouraging me to get off the apps and, just let life happen. And I did that, just to get the money. And then I went back to the dating apps. And I've been doing, the same thing ever since, swiping and going out on first dates and being disappointed by the first dates, or getting ghosted by men who have looked me up on the internet and decided that I'm a weirdo, so they don't want to date the weirdo from the radio.
You're not weird. You're just quirky.
Yeah.
And I love quirky.
Men don't, Kristen. Kristen, do you want to date me? No. You're married with a child. Unfortunately, and you're a woman. 3 strikes, you're out. So I've just kind of gotten to the point where I'm kind of a little bit exhausted by the same thing over and over again. Swipe, small talk, first date, disappointment, rinse, repeat. And it kind of got to the point where I was like, yes, I know for some people the dating apps work out. Like, my brother just met his girlfriend who he is desperately in love with on Hinge. I understand that sometimes all it does is take one.
And those are the stories. Those are the type of stories that keep you holding on, thinking, well, if it can happen to them, it can happen to me.
It's like going for a lottery ticket. It's like someone wins the lottery. It's got to be somebody. Why not me? It's not me. So I've decided, really just kind of by realizing I've stopped getting on them as much as I used to get on them. I would get on them, kind of just like between breaks and be like, oh, who's out there? Maybe I'm interested. I'm just like, I don't really go on them anymore. And honestly, I'm kind of finding that this is a really dissatisfactory experience. So I think it would feel really good and empowering to delete them off my phone to prove to myself that I'm going to meet someone in the wild.
Okay, so There's 2 ways you can delete an app. You can permanently delete it, or you can just delete it from your screen. Mm-hmm. Which route are we going?
I'm going to delete my accounts.
Oh, you're not playing.
Done. Yeah, I'm getting these things. I want off. I'm sick of men
That's
Googling me. Well, that's the problem, Kristen.
you haven't had a chance to say
I'm
that.
getting off the apps.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just over it. And I think it'll feel really good to get off of it and empower myself to really just stop thinking about it online. And I think this is actually coming from a really good place. Like, yes, I'm exhausted. And yes, this is a cyclical cycle over and over and over again of just the same BS. But I am entering such a good phase in my life where I am starting to just feel like myself again. Mm-hmm. And that is reflecting really well in person to where the men are approaching once more. And it's showing me that actually I find it really attractive when a man has the balls to come up to me in person rather than just swipe right on a screen or send me some cheesy pickup line. Like, I really found that for me, it's actually important that a man takes an emotional risk and comes up to me in person and makes a move. Like, I found that that's actually not a deal breaker if he doesn't do that. But for me, I'm like, I think the guy I'm going to end up with, like, I think he's going to be that kind of guy.
Gotcha.
I think this is great for you.
I do too.
I felt the same way when I got off of my dating apps from the opposite end of it, where I just felt like if I was going to meet the person that I knew was for me, it was going to happen organically. I just knew that about myself. Like, this is just not the route. And I know you hear it all the time and it's so cliche, but it was true. It ended up being true for me that when I stopped trying.
Don't say it.
I'm just saying, when I got my energy right, when I focused on myself, when I just let that happen, and the vibes I think that I was putting out in the air and into the universe, it attracted the person that I was looking for, because I wasn't actively seeking them as much as I was actively seeking myself. And I think this is good for you. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I think it's good for you, too. I think it's so good for you, we should encourage others, which is why I think right now we need a little dating revolution. We're getting rid of the dating apps.
You have a man here?
What? No.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. I ain't that good. Here's where I'm going with this. I think any other woman that's in the same boat as you, feeling the same way as you, she should reach out to you, Abby at the Bert Show.
Okay.
And we get like a list of ladies who are also like, they're just done. They're deleting the apps, not just from like their phone screen, but like full on accounts. And they email you. We get a couple of their stories and we follow along with them and see how their dating life has shifted post deletion of apps.
I love this. We're going from Les Mis on the apps to Les Mis in our real lives without the apps. But no, this is great. Listen, Hot Girl Summer is coming out.
Yes.
I'm working on some fun events here in Atlanta for the girlies. So once we get our vibes and our energies right, we're going to get off the apps so we can get off in real life.
Save that.
All of it.
I had to whisper that one.
Listen, she said it. We didn't. And she's a recovering slut. But we're taking the power back of the word, right? She's been promiscuous. Her friends have been calling her out. Like, you need to close them legs. So she had a date this weekend. And that was her goal, right? So, Mo, a little bit of recap because I wasn't here on Friday and didn't get all the deets.
I got you. So, like you said, she was living her best life on the dating scene for quite a while. She was very honest in that there have been a lot of quick relationships, one-night stands, flings, and things of that nature. And she just never seemed to be with a guy to where it was a lasting relationship. So her friends were giving her advice saying maybe you need to switch up exactly how you're dating and work on building a connection first before you jump into bed with a guy. And maybe you'll find the guy that you're looking for. So she's trying to be a little less impulsive and a little more intentional as she calls herself a recovering slut. Like you said, her words, not ours.
I really want to specify. She called herself that,
yes.
Right?
All right. So she reached out to us for some help. She had a big date this weekend. She thinks the guy is, also her words, a total hottie. And she wants to take him seriously, but she don't want to give him too much to have him running away. So she's trying to take things a little slower and maybe keep things classy so she can actually build something real for once. And she was wondering just how can she do that?
All right. Before we get her update on how the weekend went, and fingers crossed she was able to accomplish her mission, along with other things crossed.
I was crossing my fingers, hopefully not. Yeah.
I got all my things crossed. I am curious though. 1-855-BERT-SHOW, 855-23 whatever the rest of the number is.
2346.
I don't know. Y'all, I really need to get my meds filled today. It's bad. We're 48 hours deep without them. Long story. Anyway, my question is, who listening wishes they would have slept with more people? Because I have a friend and she's like, yeah, I really wish I would have hoochied it up more before I got married, and that she would have experienced more people. Cassie, you're raising your hand?
Yep, I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There is one guy who got away, and I regret it, not to this day, but up until I got married, because he was a smoke show, and I had a huge crush on him, and I flirty, we hooked up, but not hooked up, and I turned him down because I'm like, I'm demure. And then I found out he was a player and just went on to the next girl, which is fine, but I still wish I had hit it.
Right? So I'm wondering, for the ladies, 1-855-BERT show, if you wish you would have played the field a little bit more and been a little more expressive with yourself before getting married, or before settling down.
As a woman, do y'all care what your husband feels like just a little bit about this or not? Y'all don't even consider him at all?
Oh, you mean in this conversation? Yeah, no.
Okay.
So I gotta ask him if it's okay that I wanted to sleep with more people.
I'm not saying you ask for permission. See, that's adding a lot. I'm just wondering if it ever occurs to y'all a little bit that maybe I should have gone less for him since I did marry him. Just ask.
Oh, less for him? No, absolutely not. Because I don't feel like that has any bearing on the strength of the relationship. Again, I'm admitting TMI. Bart's the best I've ever had. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, Bart, get it.
He can, and he does. So that's not. But I was, no joke. We were, my friend and I'm not going to disclose who because I'm not going to call her out. But we were there getting pedicures, and for some reason this came up while we were getting our toes did, and she had a very small number that she had been with prior to getting married, and she was just like, yeah, I wish I would have hoed it up a little bit more. Just wish I would have just not been so. And prudish isn't the right word, but she just kind of felt like she held herself back. And listen, to each their own. Mm-hmm. There are some women that want to save themselves from marriage or want to keep that number low before they find the one for whatever reason that is. That's great. But for her, she's like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have taken it so seriously and just would have allowed myself to have a little more fun. And I think that's what I'm going for here.
Yeah, I was going to say, to your point, Mo, I do think there are couples where that is important, especially with religion. Mm-hmm. But for me, that's not important. I'm not a product, and I'm not going to be devalued by the number of men I've slept with. I'm still the same person. Actually, I'd probably be a different person if I had slept with less people, because that changes you. I do think that each time you have an intimate encounter, whether or not it's casual or a romance, it changes you. And so that made me who I am today. Now, I think if I were married and right now I'd be like, I want to sleep with more men right now, that would be very disrespectful to my husband. But for my relationship, it's not like that, but I totally understand that for some relationships, especially religious ones, it is.
But Mo, I respect where you're coming from. Yeah. Would that hit?
I'm just curious.
Would that hurt if your lady was like, yeah, no, I wish I would have slept with more dudes before I settled down?
I don't think it would hurt, but I'd consider that she said that.
I'm going to tuck that away for later.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ashley, welcome to the Bert Show. We're just being honest here. Are you happy with your number, or do you wish you would have been a little more adventurous?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Cassie. There is one particular person, my sister's ex-husband. Him and I dated, and then she dated him, and he, in the end, chose her. And she's a real prude. I just kind of wish I had done that. They're divorced now. It's not like they're soulmates, and I deeply regret that one.
Girl, there's a lot to unpack here, and I love so much that you called. So you're the one that got away, the bedroom edition, is your sister's ex-husband.
Right. So he was my high school sweetheart.
So your sister dated your high school sweetheart after you?
Yeah, I've been in therapy for 5 years.
Okay. All right.
That tracks.
Well, hey, good for you for acknowledging that and getting the help that you need.
You're hotter than your sister.
And I'm really glad they're divorced now.
Yep.
Saw that one coming.
Karma. Right? All right, Mary, thank you so much for joining and putting yourself out there. And you wish you would have put yourself out there more, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wish I would have had more experiences before settling down. And there's actually regrets, too, that I did not decide to have intimacy or sex with someone, and I regret it later.
Why do you think you held yourself back? If we're looking back and getting to, the crux of it.
I think it was just being scared, and, too, it was like a friendship relationship that may had gone somewhere but didn't, and I was just afraid of ruining that. But then also I just wish I experienced, especially if you have a partner later on that has more experience and you don't, and you're like, man, I should have had more fun, you know what I mean? So I just think it's important. Like, I don't mean like go out there and be a hoe bag, but I mean, but experiences are good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
So
save that.
Because I think the value is so much different now with teenagers these days. They just do it with anybody, and and that's not good when you're an adult. But I think you should have experiences for sure before settling down.
Thank you, Mary. Y'all, the phone lines are lit up with women who wish they would have done more. Destiny.
Interesting.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
calling.
ma'am.
So you wish you would have been a little more, I don't even know if experimental is the right word, but you wish you would have played around more.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
She's got someone in mind.
She said that with her chest.
Who have you been thinking about?
Is there one person in particular, or do you just mean like in general? You wish you wouldn't have held yourself back?
Oh, 100%. There was like one person that got away from me, and now I'm kind of like, well, but I'm married, and I love my husband. Do not get me wrong. I love
Nice
him
of you to
more
throw
than
that in there.
Yeah, I feel like we should point out, Mo, none of us are going to sit down with our husbands and tell them, like, I wish I slept with more dudes. This is like girl talk.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting a first-hand insight out of it. All right.
Yeah, and this, obviously, we definitely wouldn't go to our husbands and be like, yeah, I wish I would have slept around more. And there's this one guy that I really would have wished.
Secrets in marriage. Wonderful.
Hey, Meg, and she wants to be on The Voice Disguiser. This is our first one, though, Mo. Everybody else has just been like, hey.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, so Meg, you wish you would have had more partners.
Yes. My family was very religious growing up, so that was waiting until marriage was very important. It was pushed on me, basically. And I don't know, I wish I would have been talked to about sex differently, because I did wait until marriage, and I'm very happily married, but there is a part of me that wish I would have explored and had more fun and it not have been such a scary thing for me growing up.
I can appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, for the fair of balances, right? I got somebody who says no, I don't.
Oh, thank God.
If it makes you feel better, my mom's texting me. She's like, "Nah, I'm good with your dad." Thank you.
Yes, queen.
I freaking hope so.
Could you imagine if your mom texted you and said, I wish I had hoed it up more before I met your dad?
I'm sure some of these callers are mothers. Hello.
All right, so we're gonna take Amalia, I believe, on line 2. So Amalia, you said no. You're very happy with your number going into the person you settled down with.
Okay, so hi, love you guys.
Love you.
I'm not settled down yet, but I definitely had my fair share, and I'm at that point now where I've had my fair share that now I'm ready to settle down.
Gotcha.
And find a partner.
Okay.
Rub it in a little more, Amalia, to the women on the line. Wish they got more.
It's the one no that's like, yeah, I slept with enough dudes. I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Where's that marriage thing that we were talking about?
Okay, all right. So Mo,
Casual dating, you get tired of casual dating, and at
Gotcha.
least me personally, it's just one of those things where you just had enough. You're ready to find the one, and just you've had your fun, you've experienced it all, so you get bored.
I feel that, girly.
okay, all right. So Mo, I think I found what you're looking for.
Okay, yes.
I don't think that really fit the bill, but good for her for recognizing she's dabbled enough and she's ready to settle down. All right, so Brittany, are you content with your number?
Absolutely. And my number is a solid number 7. And
Okay.
I'm 36 years old. I believe that whenever you get intimate, whether it's casual, and I've had like 2 or 3 casuals, like one night, I guess you would call them, and it was terrible. And the next day, I'm like cringing to myself because it was terrible. And whenever women open themselves literally, it's like I feel like you're giving and the other person's taking, and you carry that. Like swapping souls, that's the real thing. You
Come on
carry
now.
that.
Swapping souls.
And it's like I have a lot of friends who are very open. I mean, 2 guys a night, 1 guy. I mean, I live vicariously, but they're hurt. They're going through therapy. They have, issues emotionally, where they say they're strong and they're out here living their best life, but as a friend, I see and hear the hurt and the emotional issues that this has caused. It looks like they're having a great time and they're just, being treated to dinner and then having a good night, but that's lasting so much more. Like it's deeper than that. I disagree. I'm cool with my lucky number 7, and I wouldn't change it at all.
Thank you so much for calling.
I think this is just the perfect example of the grass is always greener. I think if you've had 17 years of the same person, of course the thought of, it would have been nice to have a little bit more spontaneity is going to sound really great. Whereas if you notice, everyone that's called in and said, I don't wish for that, we're in that phase of where you have that opportunity to sleep with as many people as possible. And I don't think it's as enticing for everybody as it can sound in theory.
Yeah, so that's the first time I've heard about swapping souls. But Mo, it sounded like you were very familiar with this.
Yeah, that's how sex was presented to me. And I was older at the time that it finally was presented to me like that. And I wished I was younger. Because, as a guy, when you are raised, typically you hear sleep with as many women as you can before you get married. But when it took somebody to really sit me down and do you understand that when you are intimate with someone, especially as a woman, because they're literally inside of you, this is a moment of your life that you will carry with you forever. And whomever they have been with is now with you, because sex is it's important. It means something. And it is intentionally swapping souls with another individual. And it's just, I think we've gotten to a point in life where a lot of people just don't look at it that way. It's just an act. It's now, it's over, and I moved on. But no, sometimes it can have a lasting effect on people that we don't really talk about.
All right, last one. We had a man on the line. Cody is here.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to like what Cody has to say,
I highly doubt it.
Cody, what you got, my dude? Weigh in.
Just wanted to have some input. I'm actually glad that my wife had a high number of partners. I had a somewhat high number, not as high as her, but she's hotter than me. So, but I think that not entering a relationship with regrets can leave room for error and doubt. And to me, that takes up room for that happiness can inhabit, in your soul and in your heart. So, to me, I look at it as a badge of honor. I made it through the gauntlet and came out on the end. I don't know that I was the best she had, but I'm at least top 5.
That's top 5, and your wife's
best 5 out of 1,000.
More power to you, King, to each their own.
All right, we didn't even get to the email update because that took a turn, and I'm not mad that it did. So when we come back, did she sleep with that dude or not? Listen, we got sidetracked a little bit ago when we started talking about how women wish they would have slept with more people.
There's a lot of sleuths in the world, apparently. Wannabe sleuths.
Wannabe. So we need to get that update from our Bert Show listener. So really quick, she has slept around quite a bit, and it hasn't led to a long-term relationship. She enjoys her lifestyle. She's not mad at it, but her friends are like, hey, if you really want to settle down with somebody, maybe don't sleep with them on the first date. She had a first date this past weekend, and she really had a goal. And that goal was to not sleep with him. So now we got to find out if she did achieve her goal.
I really tried to be good this time.
Oh my God.
I went into the date.
Close your damn legs.
I went into the date with the best intentions. I told myself to take it slow, let things build, and actually get to know him before taking things to the next level.
Time out. What advice did you guys give her about staying out of the bed?
I remember I told her you got to learn how to give the trailer without giving the full movie.
Ooh.
That was a bar. I said pretty much the same thing. I'm like, bring back yearning, bring back pining. Just let the anticipation build because it'll be so much better when you finally get there. But if you jump in too soon, you kind of get rid of all that anticipation.
Did nobody tell her to not shave her legs and wear period panties?
Nah, that never works.
Yeah, that didn't cross my
I said
mind.
sleep with him.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. All right, continue.
And for a while, I was doing great. We had amazing chemistry, great conversation, and I was feeling super confident in my new mindset. But then one more drink happened. The flirting got intense. The eye contact got dangerous. And before I knew it, one thing led to another, and well, so much for self-restraint. Turns out he was super hot, but not that hot in bed. Oh, well. So now I have to ask.
Wait, Mo's just shaking his head in disappointment.
We told you.
We told you this.
You're not even mad. You're just disappointed, aren't you?
A little bit.
So now I have to ask, where do I go from here? Do I just accept that this is who I am? That I'm someone who loves intimacy and struggles with waiting? I feel like society tells women we need to be more reserved, but what if I just like bedroom activities? Am I setting myself up for failure in the dating world by being so quick to jump in? And guys, I need your honest opinion. Is this a big turnoff? When a woman doesn't hold back physically, do you automatically put her in the, quote, not serious category? Or am I overthinking this? I still want to change my ways, but at the same time, I don't want to fight who I am if it's not actually a deal breaker. Help me out here before I drive myself crazy.
I think you just accept who you are, and it's okay.
It's nothing wrong with who she is at all. But if what she wants doesn't seem to line up with who she is, which is the problem.
The alignment's off.
Right. Because there's plenty of guys that wouldn't care, honestly, about like what you're doing or what you're not doing. There's plenty of couples who, did whatever they did on the first date and they went on to be happily married and successful. It all is relative to the man that you are looking for. It just sounds to me like the guy that she is looking to settle down with may not necessarily be the guy that wants to do this on the first date.
You can't say or do the wrong thing to the right person. And so I think just saying the energy that feels right for you. And if being sexually confident and forward feels right to you, then go for it. But if it's starting to feel icky and like it's taking a toll on you, then maybe you got to look at your self-control and maybe get on some Lexapro, because I heard that dampens things down. I heard that a good beta blocker will block some other things.
Can confirm.
For some odd reason, I've always obviously known that sleepwalking is a thing. But I never considered the kind of stories that would come out of asking people about their sleepwalking experiences. And they are plentiful.
Dude, my brother used to do this when we were kids, and it was the freakiest thing ever. Because you think sleepwalking, you think a person's eyes are closed. No, absolutely not. The person is wide awake, or they look awake. However, they're asleep. And my brother, when we were kids, had this issue, and he would walk around. You would have full blown conversations with him, and he was completely out of it. It can be scary in certain situations.
That's what a lot of people are saying. And one of the stories I'll go into as we go through these, I experienced my roommate doing it because he's the only individual I've actually ever seen sleepwalking. But like you said, it's just like especially the first time you experience it, because you think they're awake and you don't like what they're doing. They have no idea that they're doing it, but you're trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing.
And is it true you're not supposed to wake them up?
That's what I'm told.
Yeah.
Yep. As I was doing research on it, they say if you do experience someone sleepwalking, you should just let them get through the experience without actually interrupting them.
And try to like guide them back to bed.
Right. So these conversations started to come up because Joe Budden, who was once a rapper and is now a famous podcaster, he is infamous for sleepwalking. And he had a sleepwalking experience recently where it got a little out of control because, he sleeps nude.
Oh.
So you can put two and two together. He was seen at a neighbor's house, actually trying to get into the neighbor's home, but they don't know that he's sleepwalking. They have no idea what's going on. They just looking at him through the Ring camera, and they thought to call the police like any normal person would do. So it became a thing, obviously, as he shared this experience on his platform.
Oh.
So as that's happening, people are saying, y'all are laughing, but a lot of these stories, like people who actually experience sleepwalking, they go through things like this on a daily basis. That was one of the things I never thought to think of. You have to be conscious of how you sleep, and you probably should never sleep nude if you're a sleepwalker. So some of the stories that were shared with people who were commenting on Joe's story was someone said a few weeks ago, I fell asleep on the couch while my boyfriend was playing video games on our laptop in the bedroom. Apparently, I walked into the bedroom, turned on the hot water in the sink, filled the cup, then walked towards him and asked how the game was going. He said he was getting slaughtered. I laughed and said, well, it's about to get worse, and threw the hot water on. Apparently, she constantly fills up hot water in a cup, and if somebody is in the home with her, which is usually her boyfriend, she throws it at him.
Now, again, this is because sleepwalking is a condition. So this is people who haven't taken like a sleeping aid. This isn't like, because we've taken, oh my God, plentiful phone calls when it comes to like ambient horror stories and stuff like that. Like the woman who painted her garage purple or something like that. This is just like, this is something you have to deal with in your everyday life.
Everyday life. Another person said, another time I sleepwalked was also around the age of 12. I got out of bed, put all my clothes on, and went in the shower. I cannot understand why I didn't wake up from this, but this seems to happen on a regular basis. So this person, they don't want to sleep nude because you don't want to get caught sleepwalking nude, but at the same time, they always get in the shower. So whatever you're wearing, a lot of the time she wakes up and she's fully drenched from getting in the shower.
Obviously, there's like some scary situations, but if you don't follow Selena Spooky Boo on social media, whether it be Instagram or TikTok, she's a sleepwalker and they have cameras in their house, security cameras in their house. So they always pick up and catch her when she's sleepwalking. And y'all, it's how she ended up going viral. They are so freaking hilarious.
How did you see it? Did you see my horse? It's above. Hey, Sarah! You're half a Mexican! She's not not delusional. She's dead. What's long division? What's division? Yes, I'm doing it. What do you expect me to do with this? I have so much milk.
Okay, that's not one of the funny ones.
She's freaking. She sounds like me in high school. Like, what's long division?
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a freak out. My favorite art is when she's watching, she'll fart and then she'll look behind her and like she's trying to figure out who's behind her, and those are freak. And then she has a significant other, and he'll be laying on and he knows, right? And it's, oh my God, it's worth a follow. Selena Spooky Boo.
So this one hit home with me. And speaking of funny, I get it's kind of funny, but it's not funny if you're involved in it. This person says that every single time that she sleepwalks, she cannot help it. For some reason, she goes directly to her sister's bed and she pees in it every single time. And that's what my roommate used to do.
Oh no.
I thought it was like he was just drunk. I didn't realize he was actually sleepwalking the first time it happened, but there were a few times when he would come home from a night out and he'd be sleepwalking and he would just start urinating in the hallway, right in the door.
Oh my God.
It's a Bert Show.
The Bert Show.